Have you ever joined a club or a sport or got yourself involved in something that required you to sacrifice your time, right? We have to give up an hour a day to practice soccer so that we could perform well at our games. We have to give up maybe one hobby to pursue one that we care about more. Whatever we do in life, whatever we choose to follow, pursue, we're always giving up something, right? And even just as simple as work. When we go to work, we're giving up 8 hours more or less of our day. So in Matthew 16:24, Jesus tells us, "Then Jesus said to his disciples, 'Whoever wants to be my disciple must deny themselves and take up their cross and follow me.'" So taking up your cross is to surrender parts of yourself, to surrender sinning, or to surrender this thing that's keeping you away from following God. Maybe sometimes God asks us to let go of drinking so much alcohol, to be more sober-minded, to think and hear Him more clearly. Surrendering might look like giving up a certain group of friends because they're holding us away from God, or the activities we partake in are opposite of what God might be calling us to do. Everything that we can do in a day is based off how we feel, what we want, what we desire. But sometimes we have to surrender, give up, deny ourselves, deny us of certain things we think, feel, want to act on, want to pursue at the time, if it's not leading us closer to God. As an example, thing that I used to do years ago was smoke a little bit of weed. And at the time, I used it more for just keeping calm, relaxing, and I didn't feel like I was abusing it in any way. But I think that as time went on, I started to study a part of the Bible and hear a lot of ministry that says that sometimes those things such as weed, alcohol, it could be anything that we put above God to make us feel better, or to idolize, or that we use to temporarily kind of fix something that we're dealing with. And to me, I took that to heart, and I felt like I don't want to use smoking as a way to feel better when I'm stressed or replacing God. So I felt convicted personally to surrender that specific thing, to give it up and, push myself away from it and deny myself of it, and instead turn to God. By the grace of God, it's been a lot better without it, and I actually feel like I can manage stress, relax in different ways. And a lot of times we think we need this certain thing, to make us feel better or to help us be happy or successful in the long run. But certain things we have to carefully look at and see if we need to surrender it in order to follow God more closely. Some notes that I took when I did this study through the Bible app was that taking up our cross means to surrender our thoughts, feelings, and our ways to follow God. Surrender our wants, surrender what is not of God. Surrender to God so that we can better do what He calls us to do. And just because Jesus' salvation is free because He died for us so that our sins would be forgiven, it doesn't mean that the rest of our lives are free as well. Jesus says that following Him will cost us everything. Not to earn or work for salvation or acceptance, but to follow Jesus requires everything that we have. Pick up our cross is that we should be ready to give up everything for the sake of Jesus. Deny yourself, surrender your own desires and plans for God's desires and His plans for your life. What do you see in your life that you're doing daily, or that you're struggling with, that is a sin or maybe keeping you away from God? It could be like giving up more time, surrendering more time to do a Bible study, or to listen to some sermons and ministry on YouTube, worship music. Sometimes we have to look at the little things too, not just the big things like me when I was smoking, but little things for me as an example would be daily surrendering. I'm trying to surrender certain music so that I can hear and fill myself with happy, loving, holy stuff, or just music that's not really focused or glorifying evil things or sinful things. If you feel like there's something that is pulling you away from God, pray and ask God to help you surrender that to Him, to give it up for Him, and watch as He gives you the strength to do that, or the mindset to be like, I don't like this thing anymore, and I think I need to give it up, or I think I need to pull away from it. What is taking you away from God? Or if you're close to God, what are some things He's calling you to do that maybe you're not allowing yourself to get to? Sometimes that could look like taking that risk on a certain project or a certain job, or volunteer, or helping somebody. Sometimes God might be leading us there, but we have to maybe surrender being impatient, or surrender some time, like giving up. Like, what are we willing to give up to be closer to God, or to do the things He calls us to do? We're not perfect, and God will lead us each day if we let Him. So don't be too hard on yourself, but just know that God is always willing and ready to help you when you surrender to Him.